Business survival and prosperity in the current times depends solely on the business's ability to manage risks proactively for their own resilience. So I've done a little homework here and I've come up with a few things we should be looking at here. Let's identify some present day business risk management threats that specifically target United States operations. Now, I'm looking at an emphasis on organizations based in what we will call urban disaster zones. Basically, if you live in a large metropolitan city, you're in what could be defined as an urban disaster zone. So we need to look at a few things here. And right at the very top of the list is cyber threats. I know, what's up with that? We know that's a big thing, especially with AI-driven cyber attacks. It shows continuous improvement in their sophistication levels. As the actors are getting more sophisticated, we must get more sophisticated in protecting our own infrastructure. Data breaches and IT disruptions have become more common, while their occurrence rate continues to increase. And it's a sad state that only 18% of the companies surveys use integrated cyber risk scenarios that will link a threat to their business outcomes. So you might want to think about that. Second most important thing is what we call economic pressures. Combination of inflation together with rising interest rate and increasing labor expenses leads to decreased profit margins for businesses. Now, I'm going to sit here and have to admit that I get confused sometimes when all the prices keep going up and they say it's because we're paying our employees more money. Because if you ask those employees if they're getting paid more money, I've yet to hear one say they aren't. So, hey, it's just something to think about. And I'm not the only one thinking about it. Number three, regulatory and legal risks. That's right, regulations, legality. Unfortunately, there's always somebody in a government entity who wants to slap on multiple syllables on something and change the compliance requirements in an effort to make your business more secure and safe. I don't know what to say about that most of the time, but I can guarantee the more syllables they throw on something, the worse it gets. But ideally, here's the thing to think about. Depending on the size and scope of your business, you may or may not even have the resources to look at these quick adaptations for what you have to do to stay in regulations and legalities. Number four, and this is the one that I'm most important to look at, is our supply chain fragility. How fragile is our supply chain? That's right. It is quite possible that an incident that happens thousands of miles away from your business can affect your business. In other words, to say you're a blue widget maker and the FDIC blue number two company goes out of business because it fell into a sinkhole. Now I have no more blue ink for my blue widget. So if you're relying on a single source of supplies, develops a higher negative consequence. So look around for other people to help supply you with the tools and resources you need to stay in business. Number five is workforce and talent risks. Performance suffers because employees face safety risks and miss out during emergencies while also dealing with mental health problems. Now, here's a real sad thing, and some of the research I've done, training your employees to handle the risks is done at the bottom of everything and most major companies. So what the major company is saying, from what I'm hearing, is their employees don't matter to them. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm hearing. If you want to have good employees come to work after you've faced a disaster, you need to prepare them. That's right. Train them, train their families, prepare them to be able to be resilient through the onset and the outcome of this risk that you're facing so they can come back to work. Your employees are the ones that keep you to work. People that buy your widgets keep you working. But if you're not interested in preparing your employees to come back to work, don't sit here and bemoan the fact that they're not coming back to work. So let's look at a couple priorities here. From certain surveys, 91% of the corporations surveyed expect disasters to become more frequent. Oh, heaven forbid. 77% of those anticipate a higher intensity of disaster, but Fewer than 40% of these businesses maintain a risk management system. So what's that saying? Over 50% of these businesses that think there's going to have disasters, and disasters will be worse, or even doing anything about it. Are you that guy or that gal? You shouldn't be. So here's a couple things you can do. There are certain steps to be proactive. That's the call. Be proactive, not reactive here. There are certain processes your business can identify for your risk associated with specific hazards. Now, these depend on where your businesses are located or geographically. That makes a big difference. If I'm on the Gulf Coast of Florida, I'm more concerned with high wind, rain, and storms and hurricanes than I am with earthquakes. If I'm the west coast of California, earthquakes are more prevalent or wildfires than hurricane winds. Now, that's just normal, but a lot of people don't think about it or look at it that way. So what ideally you need to do is establish business continuity protocols. That's right. Talk to the people that you want to keep your business running. Ask them what would happen if. Yes, that's right. Go what if, what if, what if. Sit down and discover what if, and that'll help you decide what you can do. So who's at risk? How do we have a risk sector? What's our highest risk? Small and medium-sized business are at the highest risk because they have less resources. Statistically, 40 to 60% of these businesses will fail, will not reopen after experiencing a major disaster. Ooh. Next in line is hospitality and tourism, retail and real estate, and agricultural operations. Our medium or moderate risk sectors are manufacturing and warehousing. These are disrupted because of raw material access or halted operations. That's right. You didn't train your people what to do. They're not coming back to work. You have no one to blame but you. Another sector that finds a moderate or medium risk is the healthcare sector, because they face operational challenges because of increased care requirements. A lot of people are coming in to be taken care of. They only have so many hands and heads to work on these people. Unfortunately, this is a limited infrastructure capacity. So community depends on utilities and transportation, but these organizations usually experience the first impacts during a disaster. The roads are shut down. There's blockages. So anybody relying on utilities and transportation will probably have to wait to come back up and back to work unless you've done something to prepare for it beforehand. And at the very bottom, the lowest risk, but still impacted, are finances, technical, and remote services. That's right. If you've got people living up in the cloud, it's quite possible they can work out of a hotel 100 miles away from wherever the impact was. But there's a few things to look at. First of all, adopt what we call an enterprise risk management framework. Echo Romeo Michael, enterprise risk management. Look at what's going to go on and how you can fix it. Develop a continuity and communications plan and train your staff on emergency procedures. Now, keep in mind that it's all good and nice to train your staff on how to handle and operate with an emergency inside your environment, inside your building, inside your business. But if you think for a moment that your staff is not going to be thinking about their family, then you got another thing coming. You really need to make sure that their families are protected and taken care of also. Our mission here at Emergency Action Planning is to positively impact the lives of at least 10 million families, at-risk families, by 2030. And I'm hoping that going through you, I'm going to be able to do that. Now, down below this blog somewhere, there's a link to the report with all this information that's got all of the URLs, so you can go do your homework. Don't believe a word I'm saying, really don't. Do your homework. Find out if what I said is right or wrong or indifferent. Remember, you're different. I'm different. Your business is different than the business next door. So what your needs are might not be the same as the needs to your neighbor. And there's only one way to find out what they are. You have to go look for them. You have to go find out what these needs will be. So again, like I said, go down below. Click the link. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Download the report. Do some homework for yourself. Use it as a checklist to identify what could or could not happen and work for you. And go ahead, take advantage of the free consultation and give me a call. Hook up with me on my www.talkwithdaniel.com link. Let's have a little chat about what we can do to keep your business in business after an emergency or disaster. This is Daniel. Until next time, please stay informed and stay safe.